into the quarter. Spears looking good, gets it inside to Bellamy, and Bellamy scores!
In 50 years, when people talk about the greatest coaches who ever coached rugby league, Craig Bellamy is going to feature heavily in the discussion. Craig's about to coach his 500th NRL game with a win percentage of 70%. The remarkable thing about Craig's career isn't just the trophies, it's his ability to reinvent and regenerate the team, even when a great player leaves. But this discussion isn't about the trophies or the great players, it's about his time in rugby league and how it shaped the coach he's become. It's about his playing career and men like Sheens and Bennett, who influenced his style of coaching and gave him such a great football education.
Craig.
Good to see you, Matty.
How you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm going okay, yeah.
Season number 20 here.
Yep.
Mate, 498 games, coach. When you came in 2003, if someone said you're going to have 10 years here, would you have been thrilled?
Yeah, without a doubt. Like that was obviously my first head coaching job, and you know, there was a bit of a, I suppose, a record around then. There was, you know, it didn't take much to get sacked. It didn't take much to get, you know, changed over, and I didn't sort of think too much about that. Just decided to put my head down and do the best I can and see what happens.
I don't want to talk today about sort of year by year with the Storm and all the great players, because you know, you've spoken about that 1,000 times. But how would Craig Bellamy, the coach, describe Craig Bellamy, the player?
I used to try hard. That'd be the nicest thing they'd probably say about me as a player, I reckon. But yeah, like I say, I wasn't a very skillful player. I wasn't very big or, you know, that physical, to be quite honest. But I was fit, you know. That was probably my strength as a player. So, you know, I think I was a hard try. That would be probably the nicest thing they'd say about me.
Amazing team. Developed into an amazing era, the Green Machine.
Yeah.
Funny how your career and Wayne's career are intertwined so much. What was your relationship like with Wayne in '87 as you were a player and he's a coach? Yeah,
we got on really good, and I played a little bit of first grade early, and then I actually dislocated my shoulder, so I was sort of was out for the year, but halfway through the year. But again, he'd be a guy that would have described me as like a hard trier, and you know, he used to like fit guys, you know, in his team. Yeah, so we got on really good, but like I say, I was really disappointed that I didn't sort of, you know, finish the whole year with him, because, you know, when I got injured, I wasn't doing much training at all. But I learned a lot off him early. But having said that, I learned a lot off Don as well. And as I said, they, you know, the two of them together made a real good combination.
Your first coaching job in the NRL, you take control of the under-21s at Canberra. How'd you go?
Yeah, I think we made the semi-finals and got knocked out in the first game, I think.
How'd you coach them, Bill? When you look back there, how did you coach that side?
Well, I remember I was a cranky bastard, but on some of the young blokes. But yeah, I bet, yeah, we had some good kids there too, like Simon Wolford and Luke DeVico. You know, they come through there. Yeah, and I must say I found that, you know, a bit of fun as well, you know, with the 21s. And Sheens, you'd always sort of, you know, he'd come in and, you know, he'd say, you know, can you come an hour early to train today so we can have a bit of a chat about what you think about them? And he was always asking me questions about them and giving me some advice too on coaching, which was obviously, you know, really handy as well. So, but I really, I remember more than anything else, I probably enjoyed the year more than anything else, which is a bit strange for me with my coaching.
And you've been lucky, like to work with Wayne, who's a great relationship coach, manager. Sheensy, the great innovator.
Yeah.
What did you learn from Tim?
Yeah, well, I reckon I had a really good education. I was very lucky to have the education like that. To have, I think it was 5 years under Tim, and then 5 under Wayne. Yeah, I don't think you could get too much of a better education than them. But having said that, they were so, which was probably a good thing, they were just so different, as you said. You know, like Wayne was a very, as you said, relationship. It was about effort. It was about the team. Tim was quite technical and tactical, which was, you know, was great as well. So I think I got sort of the best of both worlds there. And but yeah, I'll always, you know, be so grateful to those two guys on how they helped me and how they helped, I suppose, you know, my coaching career.
98 when you went to the Broncos. What was your role there?
I was a performance coordinator, so I was doing the strength conditioning, yeah. But I said to Wayne, I said, mate, you know, like, that was always a real interest for me. And I'd done it in, when Sean McRae first left at Canberra. That's when my first full-time job. I was coaching reserve grade, but I was the performance manager for the first grade in Canberra. So I said to Wayne, I said, mate, I know how to get a footy team fit to play, and so I'm confident in that, but I'm not a great guy, you know, with the weights. I wouldn't be confident doing such a good job there. But the Broncos had a guy there called Dan Baker, who's, you know, one of the best strength coaches I've ever seen. So Wayne, you know, he sort of obviously knew what he was doing all along. You know, he said, mate, Dan, look after that. You just worry about getting them fit. So yeah, so that was my role there to start. And through the pre-seasons, I was really busy, you know, obviously organising this and organising that and then running the program. But I found during the season that that sort of, you know, Wayne sort of took it more over then, and, you know, I didn't have that much to do. So I just started, you know, trying to help with the coaching, you know, because he didn't have any assistant coaches, which was strange. He just done it on his own. So, and the strange thing, he never did any work on the opposition, and which Tim knew. He knew when, you know, like, he just knew everything about the opposition. So it was, that was a bit strange to me. So I started doing a little bit of, you know, stuff on the opposition and just giving him some notes and whatever. I remember one day I went to him and I said, mate, why don't you do any, like, why don't you watch any opposition or give the players any, what's the name on the opposition? And he, you know, the Clint Eastwood's there. He sort of stand over me, he looked down, he said, hey, just listen here, Craig. He said, if we play good, the opposition's going to have to play real good to beat us. And then he just walked away. And I'm thinking, yeah, there's Tallis and Langer and Webke and Renouf, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, he's probably right there. But so that's how I sort of got into a little bit of coaching at the Broncos. So I started doing the opposition, and, you know, just slowly but surely I done a bit more and more of it, and yeah, so that's how I ended up being sort of the coach.
Talking to Gordy, you know, from what I understand about Wayne, Wayne's always the good cop, and the assistant oftentimes is the henchman. Gordy says when they played ordinary or he was filthy, he'd just say, Craig, give him a spray. He said they knew they're in strife when he got you to unload on the voice.
Yeah, he only done it a couple of times, you know, through my 5 years up there. But I remember the first time he done it, I got a bit of a shock, actually. But I, you know, we were just so disappointed that I can't remember who we played, actually. But we got a bit of a touch-up. And, yeah, so he said, yeah, that's what he said, just you could take him. And so I just vented my spleen, and, you know, it's when I probably didn't get knocked out by Gordy or someone. But anyway, yeah. But like I say, he was... Like him and like Tim, you know, they were just smart guys. They had real experience, and they just knew what to do at the right time.
What did you learn about great players, about coaching great players from your time at the Broncos?
Yeah, and Wayne gave me a real good tip there, like real early in my time there. I remember we were doing some pre-season training. We were doing a bit of a warm-up, and then so they were just doing a bit of stretching. And we were at the Red Hill training ground there. I'm looking around, and, you know, they're doing a hamstring stretch. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I look over, and here's Alf leaning on the fence. There was some bloke walking past, and he's having a yarn to this bloke. Everybody else is stretching, and Alf's leaning on the fence talking to this bloke. Anyway, Wayne must have seen me. I was going to go over, because I'm only like 2 weeks into my career at the Broncos. So, you know, I was going to sort of, hey, Alf, mate, you need to be on it with this. So I'm heading over to have a chat, and Wayne pulled me up. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm just going to get out to do some stretching, mate. He said, just leave him alone, mate. That's what he does. And it was good advice, I reckon. You know, I probably haven't gone to that length, but, you know, I reckon there's those great players, you know, they know what it takes to get, you know, for them to do to be prepared for their best, you know. So sometimes you might give them a little hint, but other times just leave them to themselves.
I don't know whether this is the truth or it's just become legend, but 2002, Raiders are looking for a coach and they interview you for the job and tell you you've basically got the job. And then Matt Elliott comes in after you and they ring you and tell you, sorry, we've changed our mind.
Yeah, well, I actually got driven to the airport when I had the interview, and they said, mate, yeah, you'll basically get it. We've just got to interview someone else, but you'll get it. And then 3 days later, I got the phone call. Yeah, so but yeah.
How'd you react?
Oh no, I was just really disappointed actually. But I haven't said that those things happen, and the Raiders at the time, they had to make the decision on who they thought was going to be best for the job, and like I say, those things happen.
I can imagine people would be sitting in their lounge rooms in Queanbeyan and shedding a tear when they hear that. What about the Melbourne Storm? Did the Storm interview you for a job, or did they just offer you the job?
John Rebo just rang me up and basically offered me the job, so I went and had a bit of a chat with him. I lived up in Brisbane at a place called The Gap, and so I met him at a cafe there, and we had a bit of a chat, and it sounded good, and I come down and had a look around, and I had an offer or two off the Tigers, and I knocked that back because I, at that time, my wife wanted the kids to finish school before we moved anywhere, so she wasn't going to come down, so I wasn't keen on moving away, from the kids. But when I did knock that job back, I felt as if, geez, if I, knock jobs back, I might not get offered again, So I was very lucky, about 6 weeks later, the Melbourne offer came, and I was pretty keen to take it then.
I asked you before about Craig Bellamy, the coach, talking about Craig Bellamy, the player. What about the Craig Bellamy of 2022? How does you look back on the Craig Bellamy of 2003? Yeah,
I was a bit gung-ho, and, I've always sort of been honest, I think honest, but sometimes I suppose, expressing things to players, it was the rough edge, I suppose, instead of, doing it in a bit more mature way. It was sort of, vented me spleen straight away instead of probably not thinking about it for a bit, then doing it, But, I think I've learned, we all learn from our mistakes, but having said that, I think, and I probably haven't sort of said this before, but I think when I first come here, I had to be a bit like that. I just seen I know this is probably a horrible word, but I reckon that we had some softness in us at that time. And just watching, some of the footy they played the 12 months before, and the way that, they turned up to pre-season training, I just felt that, we need to toughen up here before we, worry too much about the tactic and technical side of the game, So, so I was pretty keen to do that, and I think, with all due respect, I don't want to give myself rap, but I think I was right as well. And I think that first pre-season was a tough pre-season, but I think it needed to be.
Talking about toughening them up, the infamous Melbourne Storm Army camp. A lot of sides try to emulate it, but they just can't. Was that your idea?
Yeah, well, actually, we done something like that in Brisbane, but it was only like an overnight thing. We only did it the once while I was up there, and that was Wayne's idea. So I really liked the idea of that, and so when I come down, I just asked a few questions on who I might be able to sort of do something like that. So I was put on to a couple of guys that used to work at the SAGs, and and they had a little company that they were doing that with, and we're still doing it. We done it the first year I was here, and we done one before Christmas again. So it's been really. I reckon it's been really good for us. I reckon sometimes it takes you 12... You get a new player into your club, sometimes it takes you, like 6 months to really work out what his mentality is on the different parts of the game and the different parts of preparation and training. But those guys, they give us a report on every individual, and they've been wrong a couple of times, but I reckon 95% of the time they've been they sum up the individual really well. So that gives us a good start on how we need to coach them.
If a player doesn't come up to scratch, is there a chance he doesn't get offered a contract, or the chance of cementing a spot here? Have you had that situation?
Yeah, without a doubt. We only sort of send the new blokes to the club, and some from our feeder team, but certainly some of them we've already signed up. So, but at least then we know the areas that we need to work on them. We need to do this with them, or do that with them, or we need to handle them in this way. And as I said, they've been wrong a couple of times, but they're not wrong often, and usually. The traits they pick up in those 3 days, 2 nights, it's usually spot on.
Who's been the best? Who's been the most impressive on the camp?
Probably no surprise, Dale Finucane. His preparation, I've never seen anyone prepared like him in my time as a player or a coach, So, he was really good on it. Actually, a guy that done it, that won, there's a little award at the end for the best guy on camp, and that was Josh King this year.
Yeah, right.
And the guys are telling me that there hasn't been too many more impressive than him. So we think he's going to be a good player for us.
Sounds like, mate, you a little bit like Wayne. You value effort.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just on Wayne again. First grand final against the Broncos, your favourites, but they knock you over. Does it hurt? Honestly, does it hurt losing to Wayne more?
No, not really. It's probably, I wouldn't say it's an honour, but probably early in my career, it probably was an honour, because it'd be expected, because he's up on the pedestal, for me, type thing. So, I just don't. As I said, I'll always be grateful for the opportunity you give me at the Broncos and what I learnt, and
Mate, Broncos, talking about the Bronx, they often flirt with you. They've tried to get you there a few times. In 2008, they got real close.
Yeah.
Looking back on that, would have been a terrible mistake.
No, I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know. I've still got I still love the Raiders. I was there 16 years, and I must say that the 5 years I had at the Broncos, it was really enjoyable too. I love my time with the Broncos, and they'll always have a special place in my heart as well. And as you said, in 2008, it was that close to going back, to be quite honest.
What stopped you? Was it the fact that it really will always be Wayne's club?
No, not really. There was only a couple of little things that sort of changed it. I remember when he first left. I felt a bit sad in that as well, because exactly what you said there. To me, it was his club. It is his club. He's been there from the start, and then he's leaving. Jesus, that's sad.
Now he's trying to pinch your players again, mate.
Yeah, well, he's getting a few of them. Yeah. But like I say, it could have quite easily could have ended up back there. But I think at the end, I'll always again be really grateful and appreciative of John Rubbo and the Storm, giving me my first chance as head coach. I know I got a couple other, I got an offer from the Tigers, but even in the tough times here, they've always supported you, and and you're always going to go through tough times when you're a footy club.